We are fishing.
We are fishing at Holmes Lake as a part of our field trip and doing it with a bunch of other schools for like a tournament.
And it's been on our calendar for a while now. We've been talking about it, pumping the kids up, pumping the staff members up, and then finally this morning, the day came, the students got on the bus, the staff members got on the bus, we rolled up, and the kids are having a blast right now.
Pretty fun. You know, I get to hang out with my friends and like go fishing and stuff. It's great.
You know, but having them come out here and just seeing them, you know, smile and enjoy, you know, themselves out here. I mean, it makes it all worth it.
Pretty excited, you know, because like most of the time we're just sitting there doing work. So like to be able to actually go somewhere else is pretty cool for once. It feels kind of crazy, you know, because we're not really used to being able to like go places a lot.
It just teaches them, you know, skills in life. You know, when the line gets tangled at the end of a fishing pole, you know, not to lose it and throw the pole in the water. You know, it's those life skills, you know, of how to deal with hard situations, and that's what we deal with a lot, you know, out at school, are just those hard situations, you know, that we try to teach them and walk them through.
It feels like really like rewarding, you know, for like all the work that we've put in, like especially us as seniors, to be able to come out and like do something like to show that we've like been decent, you know, and like actually accomplish things in life.
I would say it's great school bonding. You know, and coming out here, I mean, it's super important for the kids just to see the teachers, you know, outside of the classroom, you know, so they understand, you know, that we're humans also, you know, and we enjoy like doing this stuff also, you know, with them. So.
Have you caught anything?
No, not yet. They're like allergic to my rod. They just run away.
Lincoln Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting, Tuesday, May 27th, is called to order. Laura, would you call the roll?
Ms. Byer.
Here.
Mr. Goodwin.
Here.
Dr. Johnson-Farr.
Here.
Mrs. Krivolovic.
Here.
Ms. Mumgard.
Here.
Dr. Rauner.
Here.
Mr. Shrivastov.
Mr. Shrastov is excused. The Open Meeting Act is posted in the entry for those who would like to read it. We have minutes from our May 13th and 19th board meetings for approval. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, the minutes stand approved as published. Next, we have item 6.1. Annie.
Yes, would Ms. Amanda Woodward please meet me at the podium? Thank you. I'm going to put this forward as a motion. Whereas Amanda Woodward was recently awarded the Nebraska SkillsUSA 2025 Advisor of the Year Award, and whereas Amanda Woodward inspires students to pursue their passion in skilled and technical trades, and whereas Amanda Woodward engages, challenges, and empowers the next generation students to become world-class workers, leaders, and responsible American citizens, and whereas Amanda Woodward is valued, respected, and admired among her colleagues, not only at Lincoln Public Schools, but also across the state of Nebraska and the United States. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lincoln Board of Education does hereby congratulate Amanda Woodward for being named the 2025 Advisor of the Year by Nebraska SkillsUSA, signed by President Bob Browner and Interim Superintendent of Schools John Scaretta. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I have many people here supporting me tonight. I have Fala Halsey, Megan Kroll, my wife Ashley Stewart. I have Denise Craig, and Paxton and Zora. Thank you for being here to support me for this honor. I'm so grateful for them, and I'm so grateful for all of you here tonight with this honor. SkillsUSA is a career and technical student organization centered on ensuring America has a skilled workforce. Most people know us for these red jackets, or maybe for the competitions. Students from across the state come together to showcase their skills in welding, aviation maintenance, baking, motorcycle repair, etc. Basically, any skilled trade you can imagine, we have a competition for that. But it's not just about the skill competitions. It's about equipping students with confidence, direction, purpose. It's where a student who's unsure of their place in the world comes to find their calling and a team who supports them. It's where career readiness meets leadership, where students learn how to own a mistake, to advocate for themselves, and to lead with integrity. This stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum, though. It takes a community that shows up. Achieving excellence is never a solo journey, and that brings me back to me, and that's why I have a lot of people to thank. Thank you to my friends and family who believed in my dream of making skilled careers more accessible to every student, regardless of their academic path. Because here's the deal, trades careers are good for students who take AP classes. Trades careers are good for students who have 4.0 GPAs. They're also great for students who struggle, but there's no one marker that makes a trades career right for any particular student except for what's in their heart. So thank you to Lincoln Public Schools, to Dr. Jason Thompson, to my principal, Megan Kroll, for our building administration, to the counselors, and to my department. Big thank you to Duncan Aviation, whose real-world partnership and their generous support has opened doors that my students couldn't have imagined. And thank you to the teachers I ate lunch with. They keep me grounded. Above all, though, and the most important reason that I'm here is to thank my students. Students, your nomination for this award means the world to me. You show up early, you stay late, you do your best, not just for yourselves, but for something bigger. You're not just tuning up lawnmowers or going and volunteering at middle school conferences. You are building your future. This year, our chapter earned the Gold Chapter of Excellence Award for the first time in over 20 years. And this June, I'll be taking 7 of our scholars to Atlanta to compete in the National SkillsUSA competition. So SkillsUSA is more than just an organization. It is a launch pad, transforming classrooms into places where students become skilled professionals, ethical leaders, and engaged citizens. It's leadership and integrity in action. What I've seen in my students through SkillsUSA is hope, grit, pride, and a belief that they belong in spaces that shape the future. Thank you for this honor. And as I said before, success is not a solo journey. This chapter didn't start with trophies and accolades. It started with students who showed up year after year, willing to try, willing to grow, and to come back stronger, even when we didn't bring home any medals at all. There were years where we didn't come home with anything, just lessons, but the kids kept showing up. They learned that failure is okay if they do it together, if they learn from it together. This year's success, this big honor that I've received, stands on the shoulders of those students, the students past, the students present, who put in the work and didn't come home with anything. I wouldn't be here without those students, without the students this year or the ones who came before them. So thank you for this honor. I accept it on behalf of every student who's had the courage to take the first brave step, whether it's towards a competition, a career, a dream, or a goal. When they showed up early, when they showed up ready to learn, and they rose up to the challenge. Thank you for this honor. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Do I have a second? Barb,
I second that.
any questions or comments?
That was beautifully stated. Thank you so much.
Great, all right. Laura, would you call the roll?
Ms. Mumgard,
Yes.
Ms. Byer,
Yes.
Mr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Johnson-Farr,
Yes.
Mrs. Krivolavik,
Yes.
Dr. Rauner.
Yes. Next, item 6.2, LPS Food Bank Extra Mile Walk Recognition. Kim, Jess, and Mike, Michaela, I think.
Yes, as the team makes their way up to the podium, they will describe and recognize an amazing thing that happens here in Lincoln Public Schools, the Extra Mile Walk. I'd like to add April Douglas to the thank you list. She does a ton of work for the walk as well. And so, team, please take it away.
Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. For the past 18 years, LPS has partnered with the Food Bank of Lincoln to raise funds to support the backpack program and to support the school food markets. During the months of February, March, and April, we have staff and students that creatively raise funds for these programs. And then in April, we celebrate with the Extra Mile Walk. This year alone, $200,000 was raised to support students in our schools and our community that would have otherwise went home hungry. In addition, an additional $200,000 was generously donated by the Ackley Charitable Foundation, bringing the total to over $400,000 for the year. This truly is a collaborative effort, and we are only able to raise this kind of money through the hard work and commitment of our team captains and, of course, our partner, the food bank. And with that, I'd like to introduce John Mabry from the food bank.
Thank you, thank you. No, the feeling about the partnership is mutual, I can assure you. This LPS partners are so wonderful, and I know that sentiment is shared by our CEO, Michaela Kumpke, who couldn't be with us tonight, but she sends her best. One thing I love about my job is I get to go to all the schools and pick up the donations, and a lot of those are in coins. And so I can assure you that the penny is alive and well. But I do want to say special thanks to these two wonderful people in April, as you mentioned, huge part of this, and Scott Wieskamp, who's here, and Lincoln Northwest for allowing us to change the location this year and making it possible. We think that was a success. Before I turn it over to Jess, I have to mention that we would have not reached the goal this year without Lanny Boswell and Greg Tebow and the gifts made this year in their memory, which was pretty special. Thank you all for all you do to provide food and hope for kiddos.
So now we want to take a minute to recognize the top fundraising schools at the different grade levels. As in past years, Maxey Elementary raised the most, not only at the elementary level, but district-wide. They raised over $9,400. Their team captain was Amy Dema. At Pound Middle School, they raised $3,300. Their team captain was Sarah Parkening. Standing Bear, even though it's the smallest high school, they raised the most funds at the high school level, raising over $1,100. Their team captain was Angela Christensen Fisher. And last but not least, we'd like to recognize Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment. As they raised the most at the district office, they raised over $3,600, and their team captain was JJ Dugdale. So as we conclude, we want to once again say thank you to the board, to Dr. Skreda, to the executive team, and to the business affairs leadership team for their continued support of this great program. Thank you.
Any questions? Mara, do you know what the secret sauce is at Maxey?
Our former librarian, Mrs. Christian, was super passionate about it, and she, conveyed that message to the current families and staff, and they've carried it on. So I'm proud of the Maxey community for sure.
Yeah. Annie?
Do we have any idea how much $400,000, how many backpacks that might be? I mean, rough estimate?
It's roughly $10 a backpack these days, so
40,000.
It's a whole lot. That's pretty fabulous. So, yeah, thanks.
Cool. Great. All right, our next item is public comment. Blue cards are available at the entrance for those wishing to speak. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes and may provide printed materials to the board. However, we do not have any blue cards today, so we will move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items removed from the consent agenda? Is there a motion for approval of the remaining items on the consent agenda? Barb?
I so move to go and approve 8.1 Human Resource Manners, 8.2 Routine Business, and 8.3 Option Enrollment Student Applications for 2025-2026.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Any comments, questions, or conflict statements? Seeing none, Laura, would you call the roll?
Ms. Byer,
Yes.
Mr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Johnson Farr,
Yes.
Mrs. Krivolavik,
Yes.
Ms. Mumgard,
Yes.
Dr. Rauner.
Yes. For first reading, there are no items from the board committees. From the superintendent, 9.2.1, U.S. Department of Justice Federal Grants COPS School Violence Prevention Grant Program. Mike.
Good evening, board members. What you have before you tonight is a proposal to submit an application to the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services within the U.S. Department of Justice. We're seeking funds through their School Violence Prevention Program, grant program. We have previously sought funds through this program. We've used funds to help replenish and update our two-way radio inventory throughout the schools. With this grant proposal, we have as you know, we have a really great partnership, and LPD, the Lincoln Police Department, and LPS have a partnership through the Safe and Successful Kids Interlocal Agreement. During this year's annual review, one of the key takeaways there was to continue to pursue opportunities for professional learning and training collaboratively. And so what we have here is we've worked with the Lincoln Police Department to develop a proposal that would focus on expanding our capacity to have Lincoln Public Schools staff, specifically with our threat assessment team, engage in professional learning and training alongside school resource officers. This would expand our ability to do that learning together. For this, there is a 25% match requirement for recipients of these funds. However, no new funds would be needed as the funds are already designated for professional learning in this area, so those would be used as our matching funds. Joe Wright, our Director of Security, and Dr. Pedroza, Director of Federal Programs, are here. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions, Barb?
Just wondering, is that match a in-kind or a cash?
Our portion would be my training budget out of the security office,
Okay.
and then that's the 25%, and then they would provide 150 up to 150 a year for 3 years.
Okay. Because cash usually means that you have to do the activities of the grant, and the in-kind usually is a little softer. That's why I was asking.
Annie?
So I'm looking at this, you know, this grant allows you to buy all kinds of things, gizmos, as well as training and so forth. So what is the power behind choosing training for this particular grant, and how does it fit into our rest of our perspective and our value system with how we operate with our SRO program?
I think as we look at the data from the SSK initiative that we've been looking at building for a long time, we've found some really great results there. And those come from the co-training that we offer with our school personnel, our administrators in our secondary level, along with the SROs. We're very intentional about working together as a team, but then deciding on issues if it's a school-related issue or if it's a law enforcement issue. By training together, we've learned to, I think, do that very well, and our data shows that through the low number of arrests and other incidents that we don't experience that maybe a lot of other school districts do. So these training opportunities allow school administrators and our threat assessment team to go to training along with school resource officers from the Lincoln Police Department. And the chief has also expressed a desire, if the funds are there, to send her detectives from the Special Victims Unit, who are the detectives who work with our kids and all the kids in the city as victims of crime, and also send the advocates from the Victim Witness Unit at the Lincoln Police Department who advocate and assist people who experience the trauma as survivors of crime.
Once you get trained, is there ability for it to spread out on how the training, you know, when they bring it back type thing?
We do a lot of training here through a program called Beta, which is funded through Region 5 and the City of Lincoln. Mayor Gaylor Baird has been very generous with that money. We train a lot of police officers, and this year we're getting quite a few school people to Beta, which is a way we train here locally with the things we learn from national conferences.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm very much in support of this, but I think the details there are pretty helpful for understanding kind of like our overall perspective and value. Like, when I first read it, I was like, wow, you can buy a lot of gizmos. We don't buy gizmos, right?
We did, as Mike said, we got to finish out our radio system to an all-digital modern system a few years ago, which is something we really needed to do, but no gizmos this time.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. All right. Thanks. This will come back to us at our next meeting. Next, I have 9.2.2, CLC Office Renovations. Liz and Scott.
Scott will take it.
Good evening. This is for bids that we received for renovations at the Bottlers building that LPS owns at 25th and Randolph, where our Arts and Humanities Focus program currently exists. We are renovating a space to accommodate the CLC offices that are currently out at Roper Elementary in far west Lincoln, and they've been moved around a number of times in the last decade. This is a kind of more of a permanent home in a building that we own. There were 4 bids. They were very tight. I think the lowest is a little over $500,000 with Dickey Hines and Pierre. So we'd like to move forward with this bid. If you have any questions, and if I may ask, if we could expedite and do a 1 reading and move a 2, we can certainly move it on this summer if that's at all possible. So if you have any answering questions.
Barb?
First, I'll move to approve 9.2.2, the CLC Office Renovation, number 11179 at the Bottlers Building. My question is, does, just to clarify, you probably said this already, but this goes and centralizes the CLC, the Community Learning Center headquarters office, is that correct?
It does. I was looking at the history in the last few days, and they used to be at Keller Middle School many years ago, and then they went to Park Middle School. They were kind of on the backside of the service entrance. It just wasn't a very friendly location. Or I apologize, I'm confusing on the ELL. But then we moved them out to Roper, which is in far west Lincoln, and the Woodward building is very central to Lincoln, so it's very convenient for families and students and staff to be able to get there, and so it puts Noah and her team in a great location. And so the thrift store just moved out in the last few months. We designed the project, and I think it's a good long-term solution for them.
So this is right across from Lincoln High, so that people know that. It's central to all of Lincoln.
And parking available.
Any other questions? Okay. Do we have a second?
I would second.
Okay. All right.
You're waiving. Do we need to make sure that what we're doing is over?
Oh, yes, you're right. We forgot to go and say we're waiving second reading. Thank you.
Yeah.
You took Kathy's place. I always forget that. Thank you.
It's hard to replace. She's been
I
doing
did
that for
not
24
take
years.
Kathy's place. But
All right. We good, Jim?
The seconder is also agreeable with waiving second reading?
I'm agreeable with
Yes.
waiving the second reading.
You're fine.
Great. Any more discussion? Okay, I guess Nola's going to be happy. So, Laura, would you call the roll?
Dr. Johnson Farr,
Yes.
Mrs. Krivolavik,
Yes.
Ms. Mumgarde,
yes.
Ms. Byer,
Yes.
Mr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Rauner.
Yes. All right, moving on to second reading from board committees, 10.1.1, Policy 5520, Student Fees. Do I have a motion for approval? Barb?
I move approval of 10.1.1, Policy 5520, Students, Student Fees.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, Laura, will you call the roll?
Mrs. Krivolavik,
Yes.
Ms. Mumgarde,
Yes.
Ms. Byer,
Yes.
Mr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Johnson Farr,
Yes.
Dr. Rauner.
Yes. Next, we have item 10.1.2, newly annexed property to the city of Lincoln. Do we have a motion for approval? Barb?
I move approval of 10.1.2, newly annexed property to the city of Lincoln.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I just want to clarify where the location of this is. It looks like it's just a little bit north of Van Dorn and past South 98th Street, and it involves Maxey, Lux, and East. But are there any rooftops out there? There are.
This is slightly less than 3 acres. It's not very large. It's just another addition of a continued development in that area.
Okay,
So there are rooftops in that area, though, yes.
okay, thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Laura, will you call the roll?
Mr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Johnson Farr,
Yes.
Mrs. Krivolavik,
Yes.
Ms. Mumgarde,
Yes.
Ms. Byer,
Yes.
Dr. Rauner.
Yes. Next item, 10.2.1, shelf-stable refrigerated and frozen foods. Do I have a motion for approval? Annie?
Love doing this one. I move that we go forward on 10.2.1, shelf-stable foods, number 11167, refrigerated and frozen foods, number 11168.
All right, do I have a second? Barb?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? Only thing I'd have to add, I was talking to a Lincoln East student this afternoon, and she was talking about school lunches. I said, well, you should look at this. And I showed her this morning. She was surprised at how much food we were ordering. So, so Laura, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Byer,
Yes.
Mr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Johnson-Farr,
Yes.
Mrs. Krivolovic,
Yes.
Ms. Mumgarde,
Yes.
Dr. Rauner.
Yes. We have no expedited emergency actions, no items removed from consent agenda. Is there anything from any of the board committees? Annie?
I just want to say that we did have a finance committee today, and just a reminder out there for our folks out there in the good city of Lincoln that coming up in June here, we will be having some budget presentations, and to keep a lookout for them. But at the end of June, as well as pretty soon, we will be opening up the website for comments upon a presentation. So our budget is in process, and it will be out there soon for folks to tell us what they think.
Great.
And ask questions. Just don't tell us what you think.
All right, anything from special appointments? Okay. One thing I would add before the superintendent's report is, for those who have not seen the news, Nebraska had its first measles case today, as did Central Iowa. So if you're on the fence out there, now is the time to get vaccinated. Wendy Rao and her crew has been pushing out information, trying to drum up a few more. I think we've made some progress, Wendy, correct? So that's good. All of our schools are above 95% now, which is great, correct? All right, so at least we got that. So, but if you're on the fence, please get vaccinated so we don't have to participate in this. So, and next from the superintendent.
Thank you, Bob. So just wanted to reflect on the conclusion of the school year, a very successful student year, and the celebrations that we got to participate in and be a part of, both our board members and members of the executive team. 10 graduation ceremonies that were actually conducted last week that started out of the gate Tuesday night, so just a week ago with Yankee Hill. Wednesday, the Independence Academy hosted at the Career Academy for our 18 to 21-year-olds. Incredible ceremony. Piyush helped out on that one. Bryan Community, Annie delivered remarks to that one at East High on Thursday. And then our 7 traditional high school commencement celebrations began at PBA Friday night with the Northeast commencement and concluded all the way through the weekend, Sunday, 3 p.m., the Southeast Nights commencement ceremony. And gosh, I think, next year we'll be up to 8 with Standing Bear joining the queue. So we awarded diplomas to almost 3,000 LPS graduates, and that's pretty incredible. Maybe even more incredible just in terms of their commitment to being there and being present throughout. Our communications team does a phenomenal job. Just want to thank them for, they're there taking candid photos throughout, and of course supporting the live stream on LNK or LPS. And portraits and candid shots from the commencement ceremonies are available on the LPS graduation information page. So those commencement celebrations, it was fun to hear the motivational remarks from our LPS board members as they provided that from the stage. It was great to hear student voices and the incredible rhetorical prowess of the student speakers at graduation was entertaining and enlightening and inspiring to be around. Also want to say big thanks to Jess Fries, our Director of Secondary Education, for her leadership and collaboration with our amazing high school principals. This is no small logistical feat to have what is a great ceremony, a wonderful program for each high school that in some cases in excess of 500 students, basically between 450 and 540 students were the cohort sizes for these groups, and to move them through, again, in a dignified and celebratory fashion in about 90 minutes is really incredible and a testament to just the attention to detail from Jess and the high school principals and building admin team. So, hey, there's no off season, right? So it's right into summer school. Mike and I were talking about this, I think, before late registration even opened. We were closing in on 2,000 participants for LPS summer school for 9 through 12, and we've got late registration opening tomorrow, right?
We're over 2,000 right now.
Over 2,000. And there's, if you look at the course listing, it covers an array. There's about 50 courses and I think 8 e-learning options that are also provided. So that's great. And, you know, again, a testament to the commitment of our LPS students to continuous learning and to the district for providing that programming on site at LHS this summer. Thanks.
Great. Anything from the monthly financial report? Nope. Good. Okay. Announcements of upcoming events for the board. On May 29th, we have the Chamber Congressional Series, 11:30 a.m. at the Country Club. June 3rd, we have the Career Academy Joint Board Meeting, 9:30 a.m. at the Career Academy. June 4th, we have the Chamber Coffee at 8 a.m. at the Chamber office. And June 10th, we have the board meeting at 6 p.m. back here at the Steve Joel District Leadership Center. We do not have any other public comment. I think we have a request for a closed session.
I move that we go into closed session. Item 1, negotiations. Item 2, real estate. Item 3, litigation. Item 7, legal advice.
Do I have a second? Barb?
I second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, we will recess into closed session and adjourn after the closed session.